We're talking about our health, people. Hello. I'm JBK, and I have had up-close personal experience fighting cancer for both myself and for my late pooch, Ginny. And because of it, I am a master patient advocate. I'm on a mission to help you become your own best advocate for you and your pooch. Here's a little health history on me. I've had breast cancer twice. I've also had some other medical conditions like ulcerative colitis and dealing with a chronic cough for over 12 years. I've had over 8 surgeries. I've had mammogram guided biopsies. I've had MRI guided biopsies. I've had colonoscopies, endoscopies, and basically just enough scanning and imagery to give a microwave a run for its money. When it comes to seeing doctors and knowing the right questions to ask, I consider myself a Jedi master. But even I can be taken by surprise, most recently by a retinal specialist for my right eye. This video is about what happened, how I advocated for myself, and what I learned from the experience. Definitely stick around to the end of this video because I'm going to share with you the questions I did ask the doctor and the questions I wished I had asked the doctor. So when it came to actually doing the procedure and having a follow-up visit, I wasn't as surprised by a number of things as I was. I'm also going to go over a master list of questions I compiled that all of us should have on hand, ready to go when we're seeing a new doctor for a new diagnosis. Before we get started, if you haven't subscribed to this channel already, what are you waiting for? When you subscribe, you're going to see that there's a little bell icon. You want to hit that bell because then you're going to be notified every time we put up new content. Also, it would be great if you could share this video with anyone you know who may find it useful. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up because there really is no reason not to. A few weeks ago, I saw a retinal specialist after my eye doctor found a few retinal tears on my right eye. In truth, I was supposed to see this specialist in April, but I postponed after the pandemic hit, and because I wasn't experiencing any common physical symptoms like floaters or flashing. But with the end of the year approaching, I finally just bit the bullet and went. Now, before I actually met with the doctor, I wasn't at my patient advocate's best because I had to wait over 1.5 hours in a very, very crowded waiting room, even in the time of COVID. And I just found that the office wasn't very sterile. Once I was taken in to see the specialist, who we'll call Dr. K for short, I found out that I didn't just have retinal tears in my right eye, but my retina was actually detached. The good news was that most of the time, a retinal detachment can be fixed with a simple laser procedure. To my surprise, the doctor said he could do this procedure then and there and that it would only take a few minutes. I asked him how much it would cost. He said it wasn't going to cost that much. And I don't know if I was motivated by not wanting to go back to the office again or just the wishful thinking that something cheap and cheerful could fix the problem, but I agreed to do it while I was there. So I was ushered into another room where my eyes were dilated and numbed again. And while I was waiting for the doctor, she came in with a medical release form for me to sign. I was able to hold out the form and make sense of most of what it said, and the first paragraph alone was a total wake-up call for me. Just listen to what the last sentence of this paragraph sounded like. I have been given the opportunity to ask questions, and all of my questions have been answered fully and satisfactorily. Not. Dr. K had barely shared any information with me at all about the procedure, and I wasn't even sure how much this thing would cost. He's a successful doctor telling me it's not going to cost that much, but that can be really relative. Just take a look at this form. Dr. K has fully explained to me the purpose of the operation procedure and has also informed me of the expected benefits and complications from known and unknown causes. And then there were details about how sometimes people's peripheral vision is impacted, and sometimes their near and distant vision was impacted by the treatment. So basically this form was saying all parts of my vision could be impacted by this treatment, and we hadn't discussed that at all. But despite this, despite the fact that I knew I had the right to ask the doctor questions about the procedure, despite the fact that I really couldn't sign this form until I had asked the questions, despite all of that, a little inner dialogue of doubt ran through my mind while I waited for Dr. K to come into the room. And that doubt was all about, who am I to question a doctor? Who am I to question somebody in authority? As if asking questions is a bad thing to do. But really, asking questions is the only way to get to the bottom of things, to discover answers, to find out truths, and to guide yourself to the best care you can get. And keep in mind, I wasn't getting a wart frozen off my knee. This man was about to do a procedure on one of my eyes. Invasive or not, this was about my vision. Hello? Luckily, logic prevailed, and I pushed through all my self-doubt and told the nurse that I couldn't sign the form until I had asked the doctor some questions. And then I quickly drafted an email so I could write all my questions down and then type in his answers. Was it stressful doing that? Completely. Did I regret doing it? Not at all. I had to do it. I had no choice. And I would add that I don't think anyone should sign a medical form unless they read it. And I've had to read through some really thick medical forms. You should see the one I had to sign before getting a mastectomy. But I digress. When Dr. K finally came in, I went over my list of questions with him, and here's what that draft of questions looked like. The first thing I asked him was to confirm my diagnosis because my head was spinning a little bit and I couldn't even truly remember what it was. Right eye retinal detachment, good to know. And then I told him I really needed to know the exact cost. And you know what? He picked up the phone, he called his billing administrator, and she was able to tell me what patients with my health insurance usually pay out of pocket. He did go over what would happen if I did nothing, which is that I could lose the vision in my right eye. The alternative treatment really, in his mind, was only invasive eye surgery. And under complications, I asked him about changes to the peripheral vision and near and distant. On my way home from the procedure, I felt really compelled to make a video about the experience because I think it's so important for all of us to remember we have the right to ask questions. In retrospect, I would have definitely benefited from a saved list of questions that I could access on my phone or bring as a printout with me to the appointment. Then I could have made a more informed decision about doing this procedure the same day, or perhaps coming back another day when I was more mentally prepared. Also, there would have been a lot less surprises for me regarding this procedure in general. And I am going to share with you what those surprises are and what questions I could have asked to prevent those surprises. So hold on, we're almost there. The story of me seeing this retinal specialist is really a cautionary tale, because if I can be taken by surprise, you can be too. And feeling self-doubt in a situation like that, I think is really natural. It's human. But here's the important takeaway. I walked into this appointment and I agreed to this procedure as a patient. But when I left the office that day, because I pushed through my self-doubt, because I asked some of the questions I thought I needed to ask, I left as a patient advocate for myself. By being an advocate, by advocating for ourselves, we are supporting ourselves. That's going to help us make better, more informed decisions, and that is going to lead to more successful care. Period. End of discussion. We're done here. Let's talk surprises. Number one, what I didn't mention about the procedure is that it hurt like a mofo. It hurt more than anything I can remember having done to me, and I've had a breast removed. Did the doctor mention that it could be painful before the procedure? He did not. Did I ask him if it was going to be painful at all? I did not. Had I known, I don't know if I would have waited or not, but I can tell you that during the procedure, I was told I had to be completely still despite the pain I was feeling. So I do feel that being a little more mentally prepared for that would have been good for me. And hello, Xanax, that might have helped too. Then at my follow-up visit, I found out that the initial procedure worked, but that he wanted to do it another 1 or 2 more times to make sure that his fix would last for the rest of my life. Did he share with me this information before the initial procedure? No, he didn't. But I also didn't ask him if there was anything else I was gonna need after this one procedure we did. Another thing that came up in my follow-up visit is I said to him, oh, by the way, my near vision has definitely been negatively impacted by this procedure because I have pretty much had to wear my reading glasses all the time. And initially he had told me that any issues with my near vision would last for 2 weeks. And in the follow-up visit, he said that that could last for 2 months. So that's an example of him changing his answer after the fact. What do we think of that? I did take Dr. K to task for not sharing all this information with me initially, and he was pretty unapologetic. So I really feel like I have to get a second opinion now because I don't totally trust him. And I really don't want to have to do this procedure again if I don't have to. Before we go, definitely click on the link in our description for the list of questions that you can use the next time you're seeing your doctor. You can print this list, you can bookmark this list, you can copy and paste it and make it your own. The point is, keep it handy so you can easily access it before any important appointment that you have. I also recommend looking over this list before you have an appointment, just to help you, get into the headset of being a patient advocate for yourself. Be your own patient advocate. Ask your doctor these questions. It's just a series of bulleted questions, and it's less than 2 pages long. I'm actually gonna make a video going over these questions in greater detail another time. I want you to know why I chose the questions that are on this list and the importance of each one of them. Trusting your healthcare providers is so important. And I truly believe that that is an integral step to our healing. For any treatment or procedure I've done, I think I've trusted 95% of those doctors and healthcare providers. So I'm lucky that way. But at the end of the day, the most important person I need to trust in this process is myself. We need to start with ourselves first. And if we do, I really do believe that we can almost ensure that we are receiving the very best care possible. That's our video. Please leave a comment and let us know whether you think it's better to know that something's going to be painful or whether it's better to not know. Also, if you've ever had to be a patient advocate for yourself or someone in your family or your pet, please leave a comment and share your experience with us. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share, don't forget to like, but most importantly, don't forget to take really good care of yourself, be kind to yourself, and be your own patient advocate. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.